Let's play a little game. Imagine it's 1950. You're a young adult with an average household income. And back then, buying a home was straightforward. You could afford the equivalent of Park Place without breaking the bank too bad. Fast forward to the 1970s, inflation crept in a little bit, but you're still doing okay. You might not be able to afford Park Place anymore, but you could comfortably afford Marvin Gardens. Now let's jump to the 2000s. Wages haven't kept up with the rise in home prices, so your options are starting to look a little slim. Instead of Marvin Gardens, you're looking at something like St. James Place. It's not ideal, but it works. And now it's 2024. The average young adult might be lucky to afford Baltic Avenue. The dream of Park Place and Boardwalk is long gone. Here's why. Over the decades, the rules of the game have changed. In the 1950s, the average home cost was about 2 years' salary. Today, it's closer to 7 years' salary. And that's not all. Down payment, skyrocketing interest rates, and inflation have made the board harder and harder to play on. But what if I told you there's still a way to play this game and actually win? Make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to show you how the military can help you flip the rules of this rigged game and make it work in your favor. The average home in America costs over $400,000 right now. Interest rates have skyrocketed, down payments require tens of thousands of dollars, and inflation keeps driving prices up. It's not just harder to buy a home right now, it's almost impossible for many. Let's break it down. In 1950, a 20% down payment on a house was about $1,500. Today, that same 20% on a $400,000 home is $80,000. Now, how many young adults do you know with $80,000 lying around? When I was young, I was lucky to have about $100. And here's the kicker. The average 20-something-year-old isn't just facing housing costs. They're also dealing with massive student loans, stagnant wages, and rising rents. It's no wonder that many young adults are staying in the game of renting, not owning. What if there's a way to bypass these challenges altogether? What if you didn't have to play the game by these rules? I want to pause right here and share a personal story, because I know how scary it can be to make such a massive purchase. When I was stationed in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, I was there as a recruiter. If you're wondering how I got stationed in Iowa, I had never owned a home before. As a matter of fact, I was terrified of owning a home. But moving to Iowa left me no choice but to consider it. The Air Force was paying me $1,500 a month in housing allowance. The average home to rent in Cedar Rapids, because of the school district we wanted to live in and the quality of home we wanted, was about $1,800 a month. So renting was literally costing us money. On the other hand, if I purchased a home, the mortgage would be about $1,250 a month. And that blew my mind. So after weighing the pros and the cons, and after a lot of nervous thoughts, we took the plunge. We bought our first home for $180,000. This was in 2016. Here's the crazy part. My housing allowance was paying for it. The Air Force was literally giving me a monthly allowance to pay for the home that I bought. I was investing in my own property, started playing by my rules. That first home taught us so much, but I have to admit, we made one critical mistake. When it came time to PCS, or move, that's what we call it in the military, instead of keeping the property and turning it into a rental, we bought the home for $180,000 in 2016, and we sold it for $220,000 in 2019. Which at the time felt like a huge win. But here's what we didn't realize. That same home is now worth $320,000. Not only did it appreciate in value, but we could have also turned it into a rental property and started creating a passive income for ourselves. We blew it. But trust, never again. Now, every home we buy is part of a long-term wealth strategy. And I'm about to show you how. So let me show you how the military can make this not just possible, but easy. And how you can avoid the mistake that we made. So you get two good cards when you join the military. A lot of people don't realize that your housing allowance doesn't just have to go to a rent. If you wanted to purchase a home, you can start using that housing allowance for your mortgage. I would consider that card a silver card, but there's a golden card that you get as well when you join. Most people are stuck scraping money for years trying to afford a down payment for a home. But military members get access to the biggest cheat code, the VA home loan. And this allows eligible military members to buy a home with no down payment. So essentially you get to skip GO. And those interest rates that scare most people, the VA loan offers the most competitive rates in the market, usually up to 1% lower than the going rate. So buying a home is the first step in the military monopoly game, but that's just the beginnings. So what does that actually look like over the course of a 20-year military career? So let's talk about the permanent change of station, or the PCSs that the military makes you do. Most service members move every 4 to 6 years. Although this sounds like a major hassle, it's also a massive opportunity. Every move gives you the chance to invest in another real estate property at the new duty station. So imagine buying a home at every duty station using a VA home loan. Over a 20-year career, you could own 4 or 5, 6 homes depending on how many times you move. And here's the biggest secret. Even if you don't live in those homes forever, you can use that VA home loan as many times as you want. But I'm gonna give you a get out of jail free card because I don't want nobody getting in trouble. You have to live in these properties for at least 1 year. The VA home loan is not considered an investment loan. You cannot use it for the sole purpose of an investment. But if you live in a property for at least 1 year, then you can turn that property into a rental property and use the VA home loan again for another residential property. You have to live in the property first. But how much wealth can you actually build this way? And what's the potential payoff at the end of a military career? Let's say you buy 5 homes over the course of a 20-year career. And let's say each one of these homes is $300,000. By the time you retire, let's say that they appreciated in value and now these homes are anywhere from $400,000 to $450,000 each. That's depending on the market. If you have 5 of them, you could have a total net worth of about $2 million in assets. Not only do you have the assets, but you also have the rental passive income coming into your pockets every month. By the time you retire, those properties are basically paying you, giving you financial freedom, creating that generational wealth. That VA home loan and those frequent moves aren't just tools, they're strategies to win the wealth game. But in order to take advantage of this benefit, you first have to join the military. And for some of you, joining the military is scary. Now, for some of you, you like the idea of toughness, it excites you. But for others, you don't want anything to do with toughness. That's okay. I made a video that breaks down which military branches are the toughest and which ones aren't. I got that video on the screen right now. But like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.